Welcome back to another episode of Smooth Brain EDH, where we make the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. We're back for Game 2 of our Modern Horizons 2 content. If you've seen Game 1 and want to skip the deck intros, go to the timecode on the screen now. First up is Ethan, piloting Lannis Cryptozoologist. This Simic deck capitalizes on powerful enter the battlefield effects and the investigate mechanic to create a ton of value, and can steal its opponent's threats with his commander's ability. His opening hand contains a Forest, Lonely Sandbar, Shrieking Drake, Lightning Greaves, Expel from Orazca, Ghostly Flicker, and Eternal Witness. Next up, we have Chandler, piloting Throsta, Tempest Roar. This is a mono-green stompy deck that can leverage its commander's cost-reducing ability to create infinite mana with Food Chain. His opening hand has 2 Forests, a Shield Sphere, Finned Horn Elves, Noxious Revival, Lotus Cobra, and Turntimber Symbiosis. Third, Cameron, playing General Ferrus Frockerick. This deck is focused around casting multicolored spells to trigger its commander's ability to build an army of golems. His starting hand has a Plains, Temple of Triumph, Arcane Signet, Dockside Extortionist, Burnished Heart, Monologue Tax, and a Cleansing Nova. Last up is Cody, with the Zabaz, the Glimmerwasp deck. This is a Boros artifact deck focused around the modular ability. His opening hand has 2 mountains, a snow-covered mountain, Crow Mox, Path to Exile, Grand Abolisher, and Stonecoil Serpent. We've seen the hands, now let's not waste any more time and jump straight into that gameplay.
Thank you very much, Ethan. As he said, let's jump right into that gameplay. I'm excited to see how this second game goes. And it looks like Chandler wins the die roll. He starts his turn off with a Forest and a Finnhorn Elves, and passes to Cameron. Cameron plays his tapped Temple of Triumph and scries 1 to the top, before passing to Cody. Cody plays a Snow Mountain, and of course casts his commander. He then drops an Ornithopter and a Chrome Mox, imprinting Grand Abolisher, and then passes to Ethan. Ethan plays his tapped Lonely Sandbar, and then passes to Chandler. On his turn, Chandler taps for 2, and casts his Lotus Cobra. After that, he plays a land, makes a mana, and then passes. On Cameron's turn, he plays a Plains, and then casts Arcane Signet, before passing to Cody. Cody plays a Mountain as his land for turn, and then moves to combat, swinging 1 commander at Cameron. He then just passes to Ethan. Ethan plays a Forest on his turn, and then casts Lightning Greaves, before passing to Chandler. Chandler casts a Tireless Tracker on his turn, then plays a Forest to trigger 2 landfalls. 1 investigates, and 1 makes a mana. He then taps the land and uses the mana from the Lotus Cobra to sacrifice the clue and draw a card. He then moves to combat and swings 2 at Ethan, and then passes to Cameron after that. Cameron plays another Plains as his land for turn, then taps for 2 to cast Dockside Extortionist. He makes 4 treasure tokens, and uses all of his mana to cast Monologue Tax and then Burnished Heart. After quite the productive turn, he passes to Cody. Cody plays another Mountain as his land for turn, and then casts a Welding Jar. He then taps out to cast a Stonecoil Serpent X4. Cameron gets a treasure. After this, Cody moves to combat and swings 1 at Ethan, and then passes to Ethan. Ethan plays an island as his land for turn, and then casts his commander, Lannis. He then equips Lannis with the Lightning Greaves. He then casts a Shrieking Drake, which gives Cameron a treasure token, and when the Shrieking Drake ETBs, he bounces it back to his hand and investigates. Ethan then passes to Chandler. Chandler plays a Forest as his land for turn, making a mana and getting a clue token. He then casts a Collector Oof, which makes the other side of the table groan in agony. He then casts a Sakura Tribe Elder, and Cameron makes another treasure token that he can't crack. Cameron then has the turn pass to him. With now only 3 mana available to him, Cameron just casts his commander. He then passes to Cody, who now only has red mana available. Cody decides to cast Goblin Engineer, and searches for an artifact and puts it into his graveyard. He finds an Arcbound Crusher, and I'm not sure why, because Goblin Engineer can't get that back. But anyways, he moves to combat and swings his 4/4 Stonecoil Serpent at Cameron, who takes it. And with nothing else he's able to do, he just passes to Ethan. Ethan casts a Finnhorn Elves on his turn, getting another clue, and then casts Shrieking Drake again, bouncing itself, and getting another clue, and Cameron gets another treasure. And would you believe me if I told you he did it again? Ethan then passes to Chandler, who on his end step sacrifices his Tribe Elder. He finds a tapped Forest and investigates again. He then plays another Forest on his turn. He gets a green mana from Lotus Cobra and investigates again, thanks to Tireless Tracker. He then taps all of his lands to cast Turntimber Symbiosis. He looks at the top 7 of his library, and while he doesn't hit any bombs, he does find a Reclamation Sage. It enters with 3 1-1 counters, and Chandler decides to blow up Ethan's Lightning Greaves, because as it turns out, when you can't target Alanis, things can get crazy. Chandler then passes the turn to Cameron. And on Cameron's turn, he casts a Thrilling Discovery. He gains 2, discards 2, and draws 3. He then plays a Spectator Seating as his land for turn, and then realizes that he should have got a 4/4 Golem off of Ferris. He then passes to Cody, who plays another Mountain as land for turn. He moves straight to combat and swings for Ethan this time, who takes it. He then passes to Ethan, and Ethan on his end step activates Launis, targeting Chandler. Chandler flips 2 lands, a Shared Summonings, and a Rishkar's Expertise, so unfortunately, Ethan gets nothing. On his turn, Ethan decides he wants some more card draw, so he casts a Rhystic Study. He then recasts Shrieking Drake, bouncing itself and getting a clue token. And Cameron gets another treasure. After this, Ethan passes to Chandler. And on his turn, Chandler casts a Karametra's Acolyte, and decides to pay for the Rhystic Study. He then moves to combat and swings for 4 at Cody, who takes it. He then passes to Cameron. Cameron plays another Plains, and then taps for 2 to cast Mind Stone, and then decides to pay for the Rhystic Study. Cameron then decides to swing for 4 at Ethan. He then just passes to Cody after that. Cody assesses the board and realizes he can't do anything, so he just passes to Ethan. And of course, Ethan starts his turn off with a Shrieking Drake. What's that? He does it again? No way! And after using all of his blue mana, he just passes to Chandler. On his turn, Chandler plays a Forest, getting a green mana from his Cobra, and getting another clue token. He then casts the Shield Sphere for 0, but does pay the 1 for Ethan's Rhystic Study. He then pays 2 life to Noxious Revival Turntimber Symbiosis back to the top of his library, and pays 1 mana for Ethan's Rhystic Study. Chandler then taps Karametra's Acolyte for 6 mana, and casts Throsta for 6. I also forgot to mention Cameron made another treasure token when Chandler cast Noxious Revival. Chandler then moves to combat and swings for 7 at Cameron, who takes it. Chandler then passes to Cameron. Cameron then decides it's time to drop the Cleansing Nova, destroying all creatures. Ethan decides to respond by floating a green mana, and then activates Launis, sacrificing 2 clue tokens, targeting Cameron. And the first card Cameron flips is an Esper Sentinel. And Cameron is not happy, because that would be a great way to draw cards after this board is cleared. And so the board is officially wiped. Cameron then cracks 6 treasure tokens to recast his commander, and using the last floating one to pay for Rhystic Study. Ethan and Cody both respond. Ethan cracks a clue token to draw a card, and Cody decides to Chaos Warp his Welding Jar to try to get something cool off of it. And unfortunately, he gets another Mountain. Cameron then passes to Cody, and Cody drops a Karn Scion of Urza. He upticks and lets Ethan choose. Ethan gives him the Windswept Teeth, finally giving Cody a way to get a Plains. He then plays said Windswept Teeth and passes to Ethan. Ethan, finally making a land drop, plays a Yavimaya Coast, then taps for 3 to cast Kodama's Reach. He finds a forest to the battlefield tapped and an island to his hand. After this, he passes to Chandler, who on his end step cracks 2 clue tokens to draw 2 cards. Now on his turn, Chandler plays a forest, and decides to re-hardcast Turntimber Symbiosis, and decides to let Ethan draw a card this time. And unfortunately, the only thing he can take is a Memnite, but it does come in with 3 1/1 counters. Chandler then passes to Cameron, who cracks his Mind Stone on his end step to draw a card. On his turn, he plays an Ancient Den, then taps for 5 to cast an Alabu, and he does pay the 1. He also gets himself a 4/4. He then moves to combat and swings his General at Cody and the 4/4 at Karn. And unfortunately, Cameron misread Alabu. He thought it said it deals damage equal to the number of tapped artifact creatures when it's actually tapped artifacts. So he has Alabu deal 1 damage to Karn when it should have been 3, and Karn survives at 1 loyalty. But after this, Cameron plays a Boros Signet and passes to Cody. Cody then immediately upticks Karn, revealing a Council's Judgment and a Dispatch. Ethan lets him keep the Dispatch. He then recasts a Boz and pays the 1 to Ethan's Rhystic Study and then passes to Ethan. Ethan plays an island as his land for turn, and then taps for 4 to recast Launis. And after that, he taps for 2 to evoke Wave Sifter. He'll investigate a total of 3 times. After this, he passes to Chandler, who plays another forest as his land for turn, then taps for 2 to crack his last clue token. He then taps for 3 to cast a 3 visits using the last floating mana to pay for Rhystic Study. After this, unfortunately, he just passes to Cameron. And Cameron decides that it's time to drop his Balefire Liege. This gives him another 4/4 Golem. And it is at this point Cameron declares that he is going full heal mode. He moves to combat, swings a 6/6 Golem at Chandler, a 6/6 Golem at Ethan, his commander at Ethan, and Alabu at Cody. And the Alabu attack triggers are pointed at Karn. In response to the attacks and the trigger, Cody decides to path to exile the Alabu. The Alabu trigger still goes through and kills Karn, and Ethan takes 11 and Chandler takes 6. And Cameron finds a mountain to the battlefield tapped. He then passes to Cody. Cody casts a Joyrer's Familiar, pays 1 to Rhystic Study, and then passes to Ethan. Ethan plays a Command Tower as his land for turn. Ethan decides to drop his Shrieking Drake again to get more clue tokens and bounces it back to his hand. But in response, Chandler decides to Nature's Claim Cameron's Monologue tags, and Ethan misses a Rhystic Study trigger, but after this, he casts an Eternal Witness, returning Kodama's Reach to his hand, and then he recasts it. Also, he gets another clue token. He gets another forest to the battlefield tapped and finds an island to his hand. After this, he passes to Chandler. Chandler gets excited as he drops a Finale of Devastation, X is equal to 8. He doesn't know what he's looking for, but he's trying to find something to get him back in this game. Eventually, he settles on an Avenger of Zendikar and makes 10 0/1 plant tokens. But unfortunately, with no more lands to play, he just passes to Cameron. Cameron decides he still wants treasure tokens and casts a Smothering Tithe. He gains 3 off of his liege and pays 1 to Rhystic Study. After this, Cameron moves to combat and swings 2 6/6 golems at Ethan. Ethan responds by activating Lannis, sacrificing 5 clue tokens targeting Cameron. But unfortunately, Ethan hits 5 lands, so he doesn't get anything again. He blocks with Eternal Witness and then takes 6 damage. Cameron then passes to Cody, and Cody pays 2 to the Smothering Tithe. He then casts a Springleaf Drum and pays for the Rhystic Study. After this, he decides it's time to dispatch Chandler's Avenger of Zendikar. Cody then fetches with his Windswept Teeth, losing a life. He finds a Plains, gives Zabaz Flying, and swings for 1 at Cameron. After this, the turn is passed to Ethan. And on his turn, Ethan decides to cast Expel from Orazca, targeting Smothering Tithe. After this, Ethan casts a Llanowar Elves, and then does some more Shrieking Drake shenanigans. He does it a total of 3 times before he plays a City of Brass. After this, he activates Lannis, sacrificing the 4 clue tokens. Cameron reveals the top 4, and Ethan steals his Smothering Tithe. After this, Ethan plays Shrieking Drake and bounces Llanowar Elves, then recasts Llanowar Elves, gets 2 clue tokens, and then says he has blockers now. Ethan then passes to Chandler, who is now Hellbent. Chandler peels the top card of his library, sees that it's just a land, pays 2 to Smothering Tithe, plays his Verdant Catacombs, and passes. On his turn, Cameron doesn't pay for Smothering Tithe. He then moves straight to combat and full swings at Ethan. Ethan decides to block the 2 6/6s and takes 7. Cameron then drops a Keeper of the Accord and gains 3 life. He does not pay the 1 to that either. And then, truly out for blood, Cameron drops and overloads a Vandal Blast. And he does pay the 1 this time. He also points the 3 damage from Balefire Liege at Ethan. And then Cameron then passes to Cody. And with nothing else to do, Cody pays the Smothering Tithe tax and passes to Ethan. On his turn, Ethan plays a forest as his land for turn. He then casts Temporal Spring, putting Balefire Liege on the top of Cameron's deck. And then Ethan passes turn, and on his end step, Keeper of the Accord triggers, and Cameron decides he doesn't need Balefire Liege anymore, and goes to find a Plains to the battlefield. Chandler on his turn peels off the top, and reveals another land, this time a Prismatic Vista, so he plays it. Ethan also gets a treasure token off of Smothering Tithe. Chandler then passes to Cameron, and Cameron gets a Plains to the battlefield tap thanks to Keeper of the Accord, but forgets to make a 1/1. Cameron then moves straight to combat and full swings at Ethan. Ethan then moves to blocks and blocks General Ferris with Lannis. He then Ghostly Flickers 2 lands. They then move to damage, Lannis and Ferris trade, and Ethan dies. Cameron then passes to Cody. Cody shocks in a Sacred Foundry, then taps for 2 to Lightning Helix General Ferris, dealing 3 and gaining 3. He passes to Chandler, and Chandler finally finds something. He casts a Vivian Monster's Advocate. He upticks, making a beast, and gives it a reach counter. He then passes to Cameron, and Cameron declines to search his library for a land, but does make a 1/1. On his turn, he casts Tempered Steel, giving all his artifact creatures +2/+2. Cameron then moves straight to combat, and since Cody is the only one left that could still board wipe him, he swings for 16 at him. Cameron then recasts his commander, and passes to Cody. Cody plays a Snow-Covered Mountain, recasts Zabaz, and then passes to Chandler, who on his end step, fetches for 2 forests. Chandler then draws, and of course finds another land. He upticks Vivian, making another Reach Beast, and then passes. Cameron makes another 1/1 on Chandler's end step, and then plays Slayer's Stronghold as land for turn. He then wears Cody's commander, and in response, Cody generous gifts Cameron's Tempered Steel. Cameron gets a 3/3, and he gives it +2/+0, Vigilance and Haste with Slayer's Stronghold until end of turn. He then moves to combat, and swings for more than lethal at Cody, and Cody is dead. Cameron then passes turn to Chandler. Chandler surprisingly draws something that isn't a land, and casts an Eternal Scourge. He then upticks Vivian, making another 3/3, and then passes. And Cameron gets another 1/1 on Chandler's end step. Cameron then moves straight to combat. He swings his 3/3 and 2 4/4s at Chandler. Chandler uses 3 of his beasts to block, 1 blocking Cameron's 3/3, and 2 blocking one of Cameron's golems. Cameron then passes turn. Chandler makes another 3-3 with reach with Vivian, and then passes turn to Cameron. Cameron gets another 1-1 soldier and searches for a plains on Chandler's end step. On his turn, Cameron casts a Wayfarer's Bauble. After that, he just moves straight to combat. He swings 4 1-1s and a 4-4 at Chandler. Chandler again double blocks the 4-4s and then blocks one of the 1-1s with his Eternal Scourge. Before damage, Cameron pumps up one of the soldiers with Slayer's Stronghold to kill the Eternal Scourge. Cameron then cracks his Bauble for a plains, passes to Chandler, who finds an Aetherflux Reservoir. He casts it, and then makes another 3-3 with Vivian before passing to Cameron, and Cameron makes a 1-1 on Chandler's end step. And on his turn, Cameron casts a Reconstruct History. He returns Wear Tear, Wayfarer's Bauble, Thrilling Discovery, and Tempered Steel to his hand. He also makes a 4-4 Golem off of this. He then casts Thrilling Discovery, pitching 2 cards to draw 3 and gaining 2 life. He also makes another 4-4 Golem. He then casts Song of the World Soul. After that, he casts Tempered Steel to trigger Song of the World Soul and populates his 4-4 Golem. After that, he passes to Chandler. And Chandler finally gets exactly what he needs. He casts a Birds of Paradise. He gains a life and then downticks Vivian. Because of that Birds of Paradise, Chandler's commander now costs 11 mana, so he taps for 11 and casts Throsta. Vivian's ability triggers, and Chandler goes to find a Pathbreaker Ibex. Chandler then passes to Cameron, and Cameron makes another 1-1 on his end step. On his main phase, he casts a Port Razor and then populates again. He then casts a Dowsing Dagger, making one more 4-4 Golem. And Chandler gets 2 O2s with Defender. Cameron then passes to Chandler, who casts a Sol Ring to gain 1 life. Chandler then moves to combat, and when Pathbreaker Ibex swings, all of Chandler's creatures get +7/+7 and trample. Cameron doesn't have near enough blockers to survive this, and even if he did, his board would be gone, so he concedes. Chandler somehow stole that victory. Well, what did you guys think? It was definitely a long one. That Vivian definitely secured Chandler that win there. Her being able to tutor out that Pathbreaker Ibex definitely won him the game. And those 0-1 plant tokens were just chilling there for so long, they got to become 7/8s with trample. Well, be sure to let us know what you guys thought in the comments down below, and if you're not already, please subscribe, and don't forget to leave a like. We are almost at 3,000 subscribers. In fact, this video will probably put us over. Thank you so much, you guys. Also, be sure to follow us on our social media pages. Links will be down in the description, and the deck lists will be there too. Once again, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a smooth day.